Blaschke, Woody Page, Bomani Jones, Jackie McMullen. Today, the day after. Beat 'em down!
In Portuguese.
The day of. The league catching up. And for the New York Mets, clean up on Isle City Field. What's going on over there?
Not a hot dog rap.
You know what it's like.
It's Around the Horn. Here's Tony Reali.
Hey now.
Halftime of Argentina and the Netherlands. What better time for some scoring? And look at Bill Plaschke there. Cheshire Billy Joel grin. 90th percentile in the game of Bruins. And his final still alive right now because Germany and Argentina, Bill could be looking at a lot of points going forward. A lot of points for Plaschke.
Those unelimination get out of jail free cards. I'll take them.
You love those, don't you? Let's go around the horn.
It's the first word.
While the Cavaliers dump salaries and players in order to set the table, and Chris Broussard reporting today they reached out to Ray Allen and Mike Miller, the Miami Heat in the kitchen wondering if it'll be eat in, take out, or South Beach diet cleanse. 1 hour from now in Las Vegas, Riley and LeBron. Are you getting the feeling that the Heat are going to lose LeBron, Jackie?
I guess I'd be naive at this point, Tony, if I didn't say that it looks like Cleveland is very much in the mix. I got to say, I'm really surprised. I thought the Big Three was going to opt out, make the numbers work, get better, and come back to Miami. It looks to me now like they've got a very important meeting. I do love the power of persuasion from Pat Riley. I think he's going to appeal to LeBron and what they built together and what they could build moving forward. I mean, I don't know why overnight all of a sudden the Heat must be broken up. What did I miss there? There was one championship they didn't win. But I'll tell you what, the Cleveland's cleared all the space. Rich Paul, his agent, Clutch Sports, based in Cleveland, he's the one while working for Leon Rose that called and said, guess what? Cleveland Cavaliers, we're going to have this thing called The Decision. Both of them have some atonement I think they want to do. It would be an incredible,
So it's that
turnaround.
idea of atonement, that's what's changing your opinion here, and that this might happen?
Oh, no. I mean, listen, it's still business, too. But the one thing I wonder about LeBron, you go to Cleveland, Kyrie Irving, maybe Kevin Love, Andrew Wiggins, and none of them have done anything in the playoffs, and you're leaving a group
You just put Kevin Love in there as well. Let's go to Bomani Jones.
Well, I mean, you'd be a fool to dismiss what's going on with Cleveland at this point, and they've made that trade to clear that cap space. But don't forget, in 2010, they fired Mike Brown because they thought that would get LeBron James back before they knew whether or not it was actually going to happen. So we don't know. No one seems to have talked to LeBron. Everybody's going through Rich Paul. So we don't have a clear idea exactly of what is going on. But I don't think you necessarily sign with the roster as much as you sign with the management. And the question for LeBron is going to be, do you trust Pat Riley to keep putting teams together for you, or do you trust the new regime that's in Cleveland? And I don't know how you answer that without sitting down with those people first. As of now, LeBron has not sat down with those people. So we'll see what happens in his meeting with Pat Riley. It could be Pat Riley just letting him know what he's come back with and what numbers are going to take. We don't have any idea, but I won't believe Cleveland until I see it.
Woody Page.
Yes, call me a fool, call me naive, but I haven't seen that he's going to leave South Beach. Do you really think he's going to go on TV and go, oh, I'm taking my game back to Cleveland? I don't see it happening. And, Bomani, you were touching on it, I think, but do you trust Pat Riley or do you trust Dan Gilbert? Dan Gilbert left that letter up for 4 years and took it down 2 days ago. You really want to play for an immature owner like that who, after what you did, the way he responded to it? I just don't see it. That's why I think when he sits down with Pat Riley today, I think there's going to be a deal worked out where he goes back, everybody goes back, and we have the Miami Heat as we knew them, only a new improved Miami.
And how about you, Bill Plaschke?
So, Woody, if it's already a done deal, why are they even having this meeting? I think the fact that they have to have this meeting, and feel like they have to sway and woo LeBron after 4 years down there means that they really have to sway and woo LeBron that maybe he's going to Cleveland. I think clearly, if he was going to stay in Miami, he doesn't need to meet with Riley. Doesn't have to convince him of anything. I think he needs to be convinced that Miami can win, and I don't think he thinks Miami can win moving forward. And you know what? You got to cut the guy some slack. People are going to say, oh, well, he's leaving a tough situation. The guy's won 2 championships in 4 years down there. I think he's done enough. He's earned the right to go do what he wants to do, and maybe he wants to play in Cleveland. Maybe he wants to raise his kids in Cleveland. Maybe he just wants to go back home. Who knows why? But you can't rip him for it. He's right to do that.
Remember one thing about LeBron. He's really good at making sure that you don't take him for granted. The last 2 times he's gone into free agency have been after colossal failures, and everyone still is jumping up and is so excited about him. So why would this still be going on? Because if all you can get paid is a certain number, this is how you wield your power.
all I can say is, if he doesn't go to Cleveland, you thought they hated him before? They've backed off Gordon Hayward. They've cleared all this cap space. They think they've got him. If they don't get him again, boy, he can never go back.
When you brought up Kevin Love earlier, Jackie, can the Cavs have a roster of Irving, James, Wiggins, and Love? Wouldn't it take Wiggins to get Love?
Not necessarily. I'm telling you, it's a long shot at best. My point was, even if you put Kevin Love in that mix, even if you did, with Irvin, Andrew Wiggins, where's the playoff experience? There isn't any.
That's where it goes to Woody Page.
Well, if you don't have the assets to get Kevin Love, you don't have the money left on salary cap, and the option that none of you guys are talking about is that LeBron could opt to take a one-year deal to go back to Miami and go through this process.
Wouldn't you guys love that? He did this one-year deal every year.
No,
do this every summer. You guys would love that.
Stop it. Stop it.
We're going to move on. It's been 24 hours. Brazil still speechless. Love that front page. Nate Silver in 538 determined it to be what you eyes already knew. The most unlikely result in World Cup history, 84 years and over 800 games in the making. Which is not nearly as big a wow as the realization you all had at some point yesterday or today that Brazil has to play again Saturday, the third place game. Brazilian manager Luis Felipe Scolari took the blame for everything yesterday. Can a loss like what you witnessed yesterday be all on the manager, Bill?
I think it's a lot on the manager, Tony. Again, everybody wants to, applaud Germany, but this was the worst loss ever by a home nation in the World Cup. Brazil has never lost by even more than 3 goals before in World Cup history. And if one consistent, when you watch all those videos of all those goals, Brazilian players standing around, Brazilian players just walking around in front of the goal like they were lost, like they were confused. I know they lost Neymar. I know they didn't have Silva. I know they were missing a couple of their key players. There was no excuse for what happened with Brazil yesterday. Something's going on with that team. Emotionally, they weren't ready. Emotionally, they weren't there. It was like they're on strike or something. Anytime Germany got the ball in front of the goal, something's wrong there. It goes to the coach.
Woody, what did you witness?
I appreciate that the manager takes all the blame for it, but you've got to spread the blame. I mean, a manager in soccer can't call 5 timeouts like you can in college basketball and try to regroup his team. He's got to go through that 5-goal onslaught that happened and just really accept it and shake your shoulders as he did. I think the blame goes to the players. I think the blame goes to the country. The pressure that was put on this team, the circumstances they were playing in, I think you spread it to everything. The organization in Brazil now, I think, needs to be changed. There's blame for everybody.
Okay. Well, Monty Jones?
I'll take some.
Well, look at us putting our American fire and sensibilities to work in a worldwide game here, right? That's what we're by and large doing. You're putting it on the manager if you put the roster on the manager, because this wasn't a team that had the vintage talent that Brazil's teams had previously had. That's one part that you put on them. The way that they got beaten, though, they looked like they were just stressed out from carrying this weight of being the home country, being Brazil. They've been waiting on this World Cup back in their country for 64 years, and they got beaten so badly that it goes beyond you saying that it was on the manager, because they just didn't look like they had anything left. What would you think a different manager would do to make that result be any different? What do you think that Scolari could have done to make that result any different? Nothing there seems to be obvious in that case. It looked like a lot of things came together, so if they got rid of him or something like that, I would understand it, but I'm not sure that it's his fault.
McMahon.
Yeah, I applaud Scolari for taking it all on, but Bomani's right. The real culprit here, if you want to call it, was the weight of this country, the pressure that was on this team. They're crying during that game. Tony, going back to games we won, they were crying after those games. That's how overcome with emotion they were. How overcome, and overcome. Look at the stands, the emotions of the people there. There was a lot more going on here than just one soccer game for them. But we got to remember this. Let's give Germany some props, because number one, they were favored in this game, and Brazil was missing 2 of its top players. So you got to remember that Germany, legitimately, when teams are ahead in the semifinals at halftime of World Cup, their record is 17-0-1. Germany said they were going to attack early and quickly, and they did.
And now when they're ahead 5-0, they're 1-0, because they've never been 5-0 at halftime before. Pulaski, real quick.
Woody, how can you blame the country? That's what's they've created a tremendous World Cup down there. It's a wonderful soccer nation. They love their soccer. These kids grew up in this environment. They knew what they were, in for. I love Brazil.
Let me say, I think they may have thought they knew what they were getting into, but the weight that wound up being there, I don't know how you predict as a player that it's going to be as overwhelming as it looked like it was if they hadn't done it.
And that's where Woody Page.
Phil, we can't even understand the same kind of pressure that those players felt from that country. That's why I say it.
But they
the
grew up in
atmosphere,
it.
The environment, having the host being the host country, I just think
the host country historically has been a huge bonus for a team. Teams advance further. Teams playing in a home continent, usually a huge bonus. But for Brazil particularly, their last time hosting 1950, another huge collapse for them against Uruguay in the final. Klasky 12, Page 10, Jones 11, McMullen 12. We've been home and taking a break. Buy or sell next. Coming up, Naka.
Front row.
And also, the Gordon Hayward man.
Can I borrow some
Stick
money?
around.
Give me some cash, Gordon. You got it. You good for it?
Buy or sell.
Anyone want to hazard a guess how many max contract players there were in the NBA this season?
12? 7.
18. The Hornets offering Gordon Hayward 4 years, $63 million. That's his max. Now we'll see if the Utah Jazz will match. Hayward, one of 5 players in the NBA, 16-5-5 this season. Buy or sell a max offer for Hayward, and should the Jazz match it, Plasky?
I'm selling this. This is puzzling. Hayward's shooting percentage has declined each of his 4 years in the league. You know, Utah's had a great draft with Exum and Hood, and they got a new coach in Quinn Snyder. They're going a different direction. I don't think they should match it.
Page?
I'm buying that they should match it, and they are going to match it. They can't give up an asset like that to the Hornets and not get anything in return. It's very difficult, markets like Denver, Salt Lake, to attract players. When you get them, you better keep your leading scorer. And sure, he may not be that great a player, but he's worth that max contract.
Worth max
Hornets offered it to
contract. Okay, how about you, Bomani?
I feel like you can get another Gordon Hayward where you found him, late in the lottery of the draft. He's not anywhere close to irreplaceable, and he barely shot 30% from three-point range last year. He shot over 40 the year before, but he's only had one season where he shot over 35% from three-point range. That sounds like a max contract.
How about you, Jack?
Well, but he's not. He's more to him than shooting. He's actually a pretty good passer. I think he's a very fine overall player. A max player? Absolutely not. But Woody may be on something. If you're Utah, a small market team, you got almost $13 million mixed up with Derek Favors. You don't have a lot else on your roster. You may just need to do it just to keep your cap number.
Did you say Woody might be on to something, or Woody might be on something? I think I heard on something. You may be right on that as well. Baseball.
No, I would never do that to you.
11-1, 1.99 ERA. First 14 starts. 1-3, 4.25 ERA. Last 4 starts. Tanaka. He's in the conversation to start the All-Star game next week with Felix, with Yu Darvish. Buy or sell concern for Tanaka here, though, Woody?
Oh, I'm not buying concern. I think it's an aberration. Eventually, people are going to learn more about you as you pitch in the league. He's still going to, in my opinion, win over 20 games. He's still got a great array of pitches. I think he's just going through kind of a weak streak here.
Well, I'm going to sell concern only because the numbers that we've seen in the last 4 starts aren't great, but I wouldn't term them as necessarily being awful. He wasn't going to be as good as he was when he first started. There was going to be some regression to the mean you would expect to come from him. For now, it looks like it's 4 bad starts.
McMullen.
Yeah, I'm going to sell major concern, too, although he does seem to give up a few home run balls. It seems like batters are laying off his splitter and his slider a little more on that 2-strike count. So I think he'll get it right, though. He's a very talented pitcher.
Tony, in his 3 losses, the Yankees have scored 4 runs. He struck out 19 and walked 3. Okay, this is a case of New York. Everything's going crazy because it's in New York. He's still a really good pitcher. He's got.
There have been an uptick in the home runs allowed, though, as Jackie Mack just alluded to in the last 8 starts or so.
19 and 3.
Okay, strike out the walk. Bill, you live tweeted Donald Sterling's court appearance yesterday from the courtroom. I saw that. Your review?
The deputy was over my shoulder trying to get me to stop, and I kept doing it.
Nonsensical, combative, rude, and weird is what you tweeted. His lawyers, though, thought he did an excellent job. One telling USA Today, if I needed a lawyer, I would hire him. Did Sterling's lawyers have reason to be pleased with his testimony, Bill?
No, 0 reason at all. And again, Donald's always been kind of crazy in his depositions in the past 20 years, but this was beyond all of that. He was nonsensical. He was rambling. He's acting as if he still owned the Clippers. This, again, is his last stand, and it pretty much shows that the team's ready to be owned by Steve.
Woody?
Well, Bill's absolutely right. He was there. There was all sorts of wanderings aimlessly, and the fact that he said, "Oh, I could sell this team for $2.5 billion, then $3 billion, $5 billion," I think it's beyond his control. But he's going to fight it and continue to fight it as I maintain all along. He's not going to give up easily.
Tell me the last time that Donald Sterling made something better by talking. I can't think of when that ever was. The thing about this last proceeding, though, that's different than previous times is he looks like he's in a legitimately bad place, something I wouldn't wish upon anyone, not even that dude.
No, I agree with that, but you know what? Woody's hit on Woody right on yet again. And here it is that Donald Sterling's going to drag this out as long as he can. Maybe not this particular ruling may not go his way, but he'll find something else. He is going to muddy these waters for as long as he can and make the Clippers deal as difficult as humanly possible. And that's a problem for everybody involved with the Clippers.
Well, Woody, I think I know where you need to go for your next host of this show, Jackie McMullen. You would have had 35 points today if she was hosting. 13 first to go. What's the last word?
I think if the Food Network offers me and Jackie a max contract, I don't think ESPN would match at least my part of it. I've had 500 wins with a beard. I've had none with it. I'm going to get rid of the beard.
Okay, well, that's the end of the beard. Happy trail of beers. Plastic Joe McMullen, lightning round next. And coming up, surgery for Sydney. Sell-off time for the champs. Stick around.
They were the champs, weren't they?
Plastic 17, McMullen 17, Jones 16. Anybody's ball game in the Lightning. Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reporting wrist surgery for Sidney Crosby, with the source telling the paper the wrist was terrible all postseason, hence 1 goal in 13 games. During that postseason, Crosby told the media he was healthy. After that postseason, the team fired their coach and GM. What do you think of this development, Plashke?
Well, yeah, I have no doubt the wrist was hurt. I just wonder why would somebody close to him release this information now? Every NHL player is hurt during every Stanley Cup Finals. This discounts the Rangers coming back from a 3-1 deficit. This also maybe is him saying, you know what? They fired the coach and GM. Don't put it on me. I don't like the whole thing.
Bomani Jones?
Yeah, I did think it was interesting that the source close to Crosby said that it wasn't major, but it did affect the way that he played. Well, if it's not major, what are we talking about here? That I did find to be interesting. But the question is really, how does he perform in the postseason? Did the wrist answer that? There's no way for us to know because we can't get into his wrist and know how much it hurt.
McMullen.
Yeah, but I think it is relevant in that he had a very quiet postseason after a very prolific regular season, so I'm going to give him a pass on it, knowing that he was injured, but these guys are right. Almost all NH players, it seems, are injured in the postseason. This had no reflection at all on the firing of the coach and GM because they would have known Crosby's health status, even though we didn't know that.
All right, we'll jump to Boston for you, Jackie. Red Sox reportedly shopping Jake Peavy. The Cardinals reportedly interested. Not even the All-Star break. Red Sox still in last place in the division. What do you make of this development, Bomani?
Well, I mean, they're moving Jake Peavy, which is a good guy to have, clearly, because the Cardinals want to have him. But getting rid of him does not imply that they're just about to set the whole thing on fire. But do you think they're going to make the postseason this year? Probably not. If you can get something for your number 3 starter, you might as well.
So you would deal before the All-Star break. This time, how about you, Jackie?
Yeah, I mean, Peavy's a great guy in the clubhouse, but their problem is not pitching, it's hitting. Their outfielders are among the last in the majors in home run production. If they start dealing Urihara, their closer, then you've got my attention.
Flashkey.
Yeah, you got to understand, Jake Peavy's going to be a free agent after the season. They're going to probably lose him or not be unable to sign him or want to sign him anyway. At least this way they get something for him. It's actually a pretty smart move, even if they were in contention to be a smart move.
So, Jack, you don't think trading away one of your starters, one of your key starters, is a sign that you're saying, you know what, this is not our year?
Well, because they've got Brandon Workman in the minors, Tony, and he's pitched pretty well, and he's been up in the majors, so they have some depth there.
Bomani Jones, 19 points next to go. What's the last word?
I mean, I was using this to take my mind off of this LeBron sweepstakes, and now he's got to go back to being on pins and needles because you don't want me to be on the show anymore, Tom?
You leave Miami if LeBron leaves Miami? Is that what happened?
Oh, no, I ain't want to. No.
Oh, yes.
Blackie, McMullen, showdown next. 2 enter, only 1 leave. And straight ahead, as somebody who was raised in New Jersey and before that Staten Island, who has a healthy respect for waste management, I say with much admiration, Citi Field was a dump last night. But then there were 2. Jackie McMullen, Bill Flash. Your Boston, LA thing yet again in showdown.
Good luck,
2
Jackie.
showdowns and then 30 seconds of face time to the winner. Good luck to you both. Showdown 1, home run derby. Bautista selecting Cespedes, Jones, Dozier. Tulo picking Stanton, Puig, Frazier. 1 more spot announced tomorrow for each team. What do you think of this year's lineup, Plasky?
You know, I'm not a big home run derby guy, but I'm going to actually watch this year. I love the fact that Puig and Cespedes are in this. They're 2 Cuban countrymen. They'll be swinging against each other. I love the fact that there's, Joey Bats will be swinging, and Stanton, some of the mammoth home runs I've ever seen. It'll be fun. It's a good lineup.
You know what? Puig is must-see TV, whether he's in the outfield, whether he's saying something, whether he's doing something crazy. I love Bautista, too. He's the one that's making the Blue Jays so good.
So you guys agree?
Yeah.
Interesting strategy.
I said it first.
No points. We'll move on. The Mets, 4,000 franchise win on what turned out to be trash night, apparently, thanks to a stiff breeze and the fact that they're playing Fluffy. Did the trash put a damper on win number 4,000, Jackie?
I mean, I don't know about the players, but just even seeing the footage of this, I was incredibly distracted. I don't know how the pitchers can concentrate. Suppose a napkin goes right across your bra while you're trying to throw your spitball. Oh, that's right. You're not supposed to throw.
Well, this is not, for me, this is a Tuesday night in San Francisco. You see this in ballparks that are filled, that have a lot of people in them. It's a ballpark well used. I got no problem. You never see this in Miami. You never see trash in Miami. I like the fact that the ballpark.
Okay, filled ballpark last night. I wonder about that. Should you have been so fortunate to win, Jackie, what would be your FaceTime today?
Ali's gloves.
Okay, and how about you, Plashke?
World Cup.
World Cup. From the man who's in the 90th percentile. 30 seconds to face.
I want the World Cup. We had it in 1994 in the U.S. I want it again. We can get it again in 2022. It's in Qatar, but there's bribery scandal, there's heat scandal, and as we watched in Brazil, this is a great event. We don't want the Olympics. Costs too much. It's too bizarre. It doesn't ever work. World Cup works. We see in Brazil what's happened. Filled stadiums, tremendous TV ratings back in this country. It's a huge event. Again, soccer has arrived in the United States, and we need to promote that by pushing to get the World Cup from Qatar and bring it back here in 2022 with the finals at the Rose Bowl.
How American? You just want to take somebody else's and just bring it here.
You hear that FIFA will bribe you better than Qatar.
Yeah, what was that, Plashke? Now you're just threatening. Okay,
I'm going to bribe you to make it 120 degrees.
I wonder if you would be arguing that if you were in the 10th percentile of the Game of Thrones.
I'm huge on
That's going to do it, folks. Thanks for coming around. 23.5-hour break. See you tomorrow.
Orange.
The next big thing. The next new kid. The next overnight sensation. The next rookie. One to watch. The next Hall of Famer. The next Intimidator. The next six-time. The next king. Next. Who's next? Let's find out. Names are made here. The NASCAR Nationwide Series at New Hampshire. Saturday at 3 Eastern on ESPN2.